Hello and welcome back to Football Match Daily. We're here for episode 5 of a trip to Europe, and we've got a very excited fan with us. England have made it to the final of a major competition since 1966, I believe, and I think the joy in Chinmay's face is quite evident. And we will be reviewing the semi-final games and giving our predictions for the final game as well. So let's get started. I forgot to mention actually, we've got Rishi with us today. Ayush once again is not a part of our video. And Rishi is replacing him. Rishi's been with us here before, twice, I believe. And it's great having you, Rishi. The first game went all the way into the penalties, Italy versus Spain. I think this was called to be one of the closer games of the two, since the history of the two teams in international football is there for everyone to see. And Italy edged out in penalties. Spain, we thought wouldn't have the best game. They conceded in the 60th minute to Italy a wonder goal by Chiesa, but Maratha, the man, came back and they equalized 120, 1-all, and then it was 4-2 on penalties. So I think a fair result, but Italy would have to step up for their final game against England if they stand a chance. That's all I have to say. Rishi.
Yes, so as we are talking about Italy versus Spain, obviously as being a Real Madrid fan, I just wanted Spain to lose so bad, but I was quite surprised when I saw them play so well, and that too against Italy, who are formidably called they looked like the 2018 France. I don't know, they looked unbeatable, but when I saw Spain play against Italy, I was impressed, and I'm happy they lost, but gotta give them credits because they were really. I mean, if you leave apart the penalties part, I think Spain clearly dominated the game, thanks to Chiesa's wonder goal, or to put Italy level, or I think Spain were taking it home.
Oh, Sid.
I mean, out of the two teams, I was supporting Spain a bit more, but in the end, I would say it was a pretty boring game compared to the games we've seen so far in the tournament. And like Rishi said, Spain were the better team, but I think again the same issues. They missed their chances. They created enough, but they couldn't convert it. So in the end, and I think the best part of the game was when Kellini absolutely rattled Jordi Alba before the penalty shootout. So I think that was the part where I realized that Italy is going to win this penalty shootout, and they did. So congrats to Italy.
See, that
Chinmay.
is the thing. I
Oh,
can't imagine why Jordi Alba is the captain of Spain. I mean, I remember the match Barca versus Liverpool, the famous comeback, and I remember Jordi Alba crying at halftime in the dressing room, because they conceded one. They were still ahead 3-1, and he was crying in front of his whole team. So that's where the difference of mentality comes. So I have no clue why he was the captain. Yeah.
mm. Thiago, Thiago Alcantara.
Nah,
Yeah, he
don't
had a
don't
he had a
don't.
very poor performance. Videep, get over it, okay?
I mean, he was
Great
amazing. He
penalty.
was no. Sid, you're wrong. He was the best player on the bench. Best player on the bench. What an
Yeah.
amazing performance for Thiago. Can't even break into a Spanish national team without Real Madrid players. What a performance by Thiago.
What are your thoughts on the game, Chinmay?
Like thoughts on the game. Spain showed the world that Italy are beatable, and Italy were poor for the first 20-25 minutes. Spain, the only problem with Spain has been that they create the chances. They pass the ball like 10,000 times and they don't score. So, that was the issue with Spain that day too. If they had a few clinical players or a few clinical, they did have a few shots, but if they were clinical enough, Spain would have been in the final. Italy only managed, I would actually say this might be very unpopular, but Italy scraped through that semi-final. I don't think they very well dominated the game. Their only tactic was to hit on the brake, which is, it tells you that they were already under the pump. And I think Italy is lucky to be in the final ahead of, a Spain team which was not even at its best. That really speaks some levels.
But this is the same Italy side that almost couldn't beat Austria in the 90 minutes.
Exactly. So I mean, a lot of people are talking and hyping this team up. Irrespective, let it be England in the final, Portugal, Denmark, whoever. I don't care. Everybody is hyping up the Italians, whereas they are not looking at the fact that they scraped through the semi-final against Spain. They scraped through against Austria. They needed Chiesa to turn up again. I mean, actually, it would not be wrong for me to say no Chiesa, no party for Italy. That is the story this tournament so far. No Chiesa, no party. And Kilani, the way he was dancing with Jordi Alba, number one, he's too confident. So that might be a good thing. That might be a bad thing. Number two, Jordi Alba is just I don't want to abuse on this forum, but he's just a wimp. I would say. I think everybody knows what I was going to say, but I think he is a wimp, and he is a captain. Not at all. I think. Unai Simon might, am a better captain than him. I don't think Jordi Alba is your captain
Why do you call him what you called him?
because a leader steps up when the team needs him. A leader steps up to show the troops that he is there up for the fight. Number one, I know it's not his job, but the penalty shootouts he could have had a bigger hand in it. And number two, I mean you're letting yourself get manhandled by the Italian captain. I mean that's violation. That is on a different level. He's picking you up, dancing around with you, and all you do is just stop it, please. I mean, I don't think any other captain in the world is going to take that for granted. So, just those are my thoughts on Jordi Alba, the great
I
captain
mean,
of the Spanish
if
national
you
team.
Kellini wouldn't even try the same thing on Sergio Ramos. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. If Sergio Ramos was there, Kilene would give him a hug and say, "Captain, best of luck. I hope the best team wins." Here with Jordi Alba, he's playing, Hoompa Loops with him. So I don't know what's the problem with him.
Second semi-final, I think the semi-final Chinmay is eager to speak about was England versus Denmark. Denmark started with a bang. What a free kick that was. I mean, they started on the back foot, obviously, but score-wise, they were the first team to score, and they scored a real good goal. Damsgaard with the first free kick of the Euro of the competition, and it was a worldie. And Pickford, you can't really say a lot when that's the first goal you concede of the tournament. But if that was the first goal they conceded, it was a really good goal. And if I was Pickford, I wouldn't be too sad. Talking about the game, England controlled it the whole 90 and the 120 actually. If Denmark would have probably tried to control the game more like they did against the Czechs, like they had done against Russia in the previous games or whatever, maybe they would have stood a better chance. But then when you let such a good England team control you, you ought to concede and maybe not get enough chances. And it was quite evident that Denmark weren't going to score apart from the set pieces. There were a few controversies regarding the referee decisions and what Sterling did in the box. That there were two balls in the play for the second goal, but that regardless, I think England would have scored and would have won anyway. So I think let's leave Sid to speak about the controversy a little bit more because uh,
I mean,
Sid, go ahead.
honestly, I don't have a lot to speak about the controversy because obviously you're playing Sterling. There's a reason I think Southgate was playing him there in the late part of the game. So I think obviously Sterling was playing to go down the box, and he did. And I think it was a soft call, but in the end, I don't think England fans really care whether it was actually a penalty or not.
He
So
was playing him for
for
what?
the
Say what
penalty,
again?
he was playing for the penalty.
Okay. So the person who scored against Croatia, scored against Czech Republic,
Yeah,
caused an
see,
own
that
goal,
doesn't change the fact
made
that
made made
he's going
no.
he is going
But
to play for the penalty.
So you're telling me Sterling was on the pitch only to win a penalty, and he had no impact whatsoever.
Not only on the pitch, but in that moment he was there to get the penalty.
Then if you really want to win penalties, I think you should remove all 10 players and just get Jack Grealish on, because he gets fouled like what 5 times a minute. So
But
But
Grealish doesn't
Sterling,
enter the box as much as Sterling does.
yeah, exactly.
you can this agenda all of you have. I love it because
See, why would I have
social
a
media.
agenda on
No,
Sterling?
not you,
Sterling
not you,
plays
not
for
you.
my
Not,
club.
yeah, not you, not you. Don't get me wrong here, but I just want to state out a fact here to anyone who will ever watch this video. We're recording this on Friday evening. The semi-final has taken place on Wednesday night, and Wednesday night, the whole night, Thursday and Friday, and nobody's talking about England's in the final. Everybody's talking about Sterling diving. Everybody's talking about how England cheated and how Denmark were robbed. Please define the definition of robbed. Please, please tell me what robbed means. What Denmark scoring 10 goals and England scored the 11th goal by chance? What is your definition of robbing someone? Because England controlled that game, England dominated that game, and actually, if you have a look at it, if you have a very close look at it, I was looking at it today, it was the perfect revenge of 2018 World Cup. England scored free kick in the first half. Croatia hit back. It went to extra time, and in extra time, Croatia hit the winner. Same thing happened with England in this semi-final. Same thing. Apart from the free kick, I did not see Denmark at all. They were all playing to defend for their lives. I mean, look, they've been a great team, unity, passion. Uh, Kasper Schmeichel, cheeky comment, has it ever come home? Yeah, well, it might not come home, but Denmark isn't doing any favors to themselves too. And everybody's talking about diving, diving, diving. How can you please, I want the permission of Videep and Sid here, if possible, if by the end of this video or somehow, if you attach the clip of Sterling running, yeah, if you attach the clip 10 seconds to it, tell me how is that a dive? Because if you and me, if we run at that speed, and we all know Sterling is fast, okay, do not tell me he's not fast. If he's running at that speed and if he's getting 1% of contact, tell me how he does not go down. Tell me how he does not go down. Just tell me how. And if you
No,
say
I
that's a
mean,
dive, if
see,
you tell me
we all agree that there
it's
was
not a dive,
contact, but
it's not a dive.
but I think
The
all the football
people
we've
should
watched
be
from
angry.
all over the
People should be
years.
angry. People should be angry that the referee did not look at VAR. Why are people angry at dive? What is a dive? Tell me how is a dive if he's got clipped by a Denmark defender? He goes ahead and gets clipped by the other Denmark defender's hip, and he falls down and he's asking for penalty. It's right. He got clipped. 1% contact, 99% contact, 50% contact. Contact is contact. It's football. It's not some science DNA or something that you have to look at percentages of contact. You don't have to do that. Contact is contact, sir. This is the first show I'm on since Wednesday night, and I've just my every single message in WhatsApp is dive, dive, rob, rob. What is rob, sir? What, England were playing shit that day? No, I don't think so. Come on. You do not have no. You see me. I am not talking about reaching a final. I'm angry because people are talking about this. Whereas this is such a big thing for England. Yes, I mean, yeah. If you have a look at the first contact there, he's running at that speed, and he faces his first contact there. And you can see clear contact. You can see clear contact. Now, if you have a look at the contact two, which I was talking about, he gets hit by his hip. Okay, the Denmark defender's hip. That is the second contact. And if you look at Sterling, if you know you're gonna have a look at it real time now, which everybody in the world, everybody's talking about the football, by the way, which I don't know is unnecessary, wasn't even in play. Have a look at real time the speed Sterling's running at. How please define how is I think we know what happened to Edinson Command, but yeah. So I mean, exactly. You look, everybody knows, everybody who watches football, they're angry because, of course, they might hate England or they might hate the England fans chirping around. But the truth of fact is, and we've seen it again and again, that if you're a fast runner on the pitch and if you get clipped, of course you will go down. It's science. You cannot stay up. You cannot stay up if you get clipped. You cannot. Videep's a football player. I think Rishi's a football player. Ask them if you get clipped, of course you're gonna fall down. It's the rule of science. I mean, everybody's saying dive. How is it a dive? He overplayed it, but Sterling is known for overplaying stuff.
Ask Sid there. Anyway, Rishi, moving on. What are your if you could just get this out of the screen, I think Chinmay has established this point. Rishi, what are your takeaways from the game?
I don't even know at this point. Everyone has so much to speak about this, but I think I'd side with Chinmay honestly. I think England were the better team. Penalty, not no penalty, no penalty. I think that's the referee's call. You have to get over it at the end of the day. So yeah, I think England deserve to win it. Props to Casper Schmeichel though. I really feel sad for him. He was so good. I mean, he was so good the day, and I think it's just a little bit harsh on them. But I think that's football. They have to accept it. Everyone has to accept it. England were the better team, and they deserve to go through.
Oh, Chinmay, another thing I have to ask you. If the laser probably wasn't pointed at Casper Schmeichel, would he have maybe parried the penalty outwards instead of
I don't
towards
think
Harry Kane?
I don't think it made 1% of a difference, because if he's a man, if Casper Schmeichel is a man and the son of Peter Schmeichel, the legend Peter Schmeichel, and he also made that very cheeky statement about has it ever come home, he should come out and say in a statement that that laser did not affect him one single bit. Because honestly, if it did affect him, it would have been humanly impossible for him to save Harry Kane's penalty, and he did do that. And number two, if it was affecting him, he would have probably told the referee or Harry Kane to stop taking the penalty. I did not. I don't think that was any reason. I think he probably didn't know till somebody on Twitter did not point it out, or somebody in social media did not point it out. I don't think that's related anything to to Casper Schmeichel's passing the ball back to Harry Kane and scoring the goal. I don't think that's related at all. And again, this is the thing. Nobody's talking about how Gareth Southgate won tactically again. He has tactically outwitted so many managers. Everybody's talking about all of this. And this is, it makes me sad because I'm supposed to be living the life here. I've been supporting England since 2006, and nobody's talking about England coming in a European final. Because it never happens. It never happens. I don't know. I don't know why the whole agenda is against England. Not just with you, Videep or Sid or Rishi. I'm not blaming you. I'm saying in the world. I don't know why the agenda is against England all of a sudden. Nobody's talking about England playing Italy. They're saying about how we want to replay for England Denmark. What's wrong with you people?
No, I mean, I personally have no agenda. I think just a certain time ago, I was defending the England game.
No, I know. As I said, I have no problem with you. This is the problem with the world. Social media is a very good boon because people get to express their opinions, but it is also a bane because 7-year-olds who don't understand football or don't understand English, they're tweeting Sterling is trash or Sterling is diver. Who are you, man? I mean, when are you watching football since? One game of football you watch and you call yourself Gary Lineker. So come on,
I mean,
pipe
I,
down a
I
little
can
bit.
understand what Chinmay is trying to say because I've been in a couple of groups, and I think the entire tournament, the only thing they used to say during England games was Sterling out and Southgate out. That's the only two things I used to hear.
Moving
Yeah.
on, if that's okay. We've got the Italy England game. If we could just have quick predictions, maybe how the game would be tactically, because Italy have played quite tactical football, but England overall have played more tactical football because I think England is the one real team throughout the tournament that have actually changed formations through midway the competition, and that's something Italy would want to know because Italy don't know whether England go with a back four or a back three because uh, England can play the best lineups both formations. But emotions and everything aside, I think is Italy's game. Not 90 minutes, no. 1-1 in the 90, just like the Denmark England game. But Italy win in penalties. Rishi, what are your predictions?
As you said, man, it's very difficult, honestly. I admire both the teams the way they've played, but you're not going to see a lot of goals. That's for sure. I think 1-1 again. I'll say 1-1 at 90 minutes, and maybe a goal for Italy in extra time itself. So Italy 2-1.
Sid?
I think I like to hear what Chinmay has to say first before making a decision for myself.
No, before saying anything about the game, I think you have to give me credit, and I'm going to say why. I might have got all my predictions wrong, but I said England will go to the final. This is out there for the world to see on this channel. I said England will go to the final, and I predicted that England will lose to the final because I said it could be England versus Portugal, but it's Italy, and I feel Italy is a team that could be defeated because Spain, with all the trash players or the trash chemistry they had during this tournament, um, they were able to surprise and cause Italy an upset for 90 minutes, for 120 minutes. I'm sorry. So I think if England actually do play to the best of their abilities and if Southgate turns up again, and the biggest factor here, I know Kane has already talked about it and said, "Oh, England had to come into the final because they played 6 out of 7 games at home." Buzz off, man! That's not our fault. UEFA did that for us. Sorry. So I think the biggest factor is 60,000 fans booing Italy at every single touch and cheering England on and singing "It's coming home," "Sweet Caroline," "World in Motion," and I think that's just going to be scary for the Italians. I know they're experienced, but I think Italy. I think I don't want to get in front of too far of myself, but I actually feel that England win. I I don't know why I have this surprising feeling in my heart that we'll win on penalties. I don't know why, but I feel we'll win on penalties because it's all Chak De India's coming back to me. Gareth Southgate missed the penalty. Gareth Southgate missed the penalty,
Kabir
and
Southgate. Kabir
no,
Southgate.
I swear, I'm not kidding. Since last night, it is all coming back to me. Things like Gareth Southgate was, again, everybody's doubting him, and it's all Chak De India. And if you look at the stories, it's very similar. Again, he's in the final now, in a place he's never been. So I think for that reason, one alone, I think he might just win on penalties. But I feel unbiased, I feel England has a better chemistry or has a better tempo. They can change in between, as Videep said. Italy, I don't think can change in between. Their formations are rigid. That's what I feel. And the sole ability of Southgate being able to do that, Grealish, Sancho, Rashford, whoever's on the bench, they can come on and score. I think it's coming home, lads. It's coming home. That's all I feel.
Now, Sid, can you give your kind predictions, please?
I mean, Chinmay covered it all up, so even I think
Obviously.
uh, England might win this one. I feel they're a better team out of the two. They're more flexible and obviously they've got better chemistry. So I'll just say that it'll be a 1-all in the 120, and then England win on penalties.
And then I can sing "It's Coming Home" for all of you, for all of you to see. I think Videep's already seen me singing "It's Coming Home,"
Yeah,
but
I've had a lot of it off camera. But those were our predictions. If Sid, you could just shut the screen. Those were our predictions and a very emotional Chinmay once again. But it's part of the show and we all enjoy listening to it. So there's no no problem in that. Rishi, do
there
you
was
have
one more.
anything?
There was one more emotional person who always went against the other three or other two panelists, and he finds himself outside the show today. So I
Exactly.
I I
Surname
just hope.
unnamed, right? Sid,
Yeah.
unnamed person.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
unnamed
and also
member of
yeah,
the
just before I end,
podcast.
just before we end, unnamed and a lot of stuff I saw in your last episode when I was not there. This unnamed person kept on saying that England should lose. I would love to see Chinmay's reaction. He's right in front of me, but I'm not going to name him. I would like to say
He's
good
going
evening
for
to.
an England win today, right?
Yeah, he is,
He's
but I, I
predicted
would
an
I,
England win.
I would like to say good evening to him, whoever it is, and um, just a lot of shots were taken at me last week in last week's episode, but I think England and Sterling and Kane and Saka, they all proved me wrong. And kudos to Ayush, and I hope he can come back soon enough if Videep does want him on the show. Their personal differences keep on coming onto the show, But I hope that football wins at the end of the day.
Yeah, football always wins. There's no problem about that. But Rishi, before we wrap things up, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, so there are actually two people I want to give credit to, as much as I don't want to, but I have to. That is Gareth Southgate, and second being Raheem Sterling. I think they've been
He's
slandered
winning.
throughout.
Gareth Southgate is winning
They've been
over the
slandered
fans.
throughout. Sterling, I remember seeing Sterling's Instagram after the Man City final. I think it was filled with abuse and racial slurs and all sorts of things that shouldn't be there. And I'm happy that he's actually the lead man who's bringing it home. And Gareth Southgate, I think he's been the most hated man in England. Everyone always questions him. Everyone has bad things to say about him. Everyone questions him, and now he's leading his team to the final. So I think you have to give them credit. You have to acknowledge what they've done. Both these guys are not, well, hated. I can say hated because they always receive slander on the social media, on media, every time, everywhere. So I think I'm happy for both of them.
I
I
think
think
uh, I think just want to point out that although Rishi predicted for a Italy win, um, he just literally said that Sterling is the man who's going to bring it home. So
I think
I
he could
He's
potentially
on the
no
bring
way.
it
no
home.
He's on the way.
no
I
no
didn't say he's
no no
bringing.
he said he's going to be the man who will bring it home. So I know what he said. So
But
that tells you the story. Each fan in the world, they can say that they hate England, they can say that they don't want England to win, but deep down they want England to win, and it's coming home. It's coming home.
I
Football's
think
coming.
whatever Rishi said just like maybe made Chinmay's day. He might maybe have tears of joy in his eye at this point. But
No, I think it's long
that
due. I think it's long due,
it's
honestly.
long due to
Gareth
be.
Southgate, I just feel bad for him at this point.
You don't feel
Everyone
bad.
always has something
You
wrong.
you 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 would have felt bad if you
So,
came to the final because then you would have had to cry. But it's okay. The Italians did the job. They did the Italian job on you, so it's okay.
Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you, Rishi, for coming. It was great for you. I think I told you on very short notice that we were recording today, but we're still so I'm glad you could turn up. Chinmay, obviously, always the emotional one, always a joy to listen to in the end. And there's obviously Sid, who had a lot of shots fired at Chinmay and England last week. He was the unnamed person, by the way, Chinmay was referring to. And Ayush, another person who couldn't be with us today, but always part of our team, isn't he? Anyway, that's football.
I actually have one more thing to say. I
Oh,
think
go
this is
on,
going
go
to
on.
be a great weekend. We also have another big game coming up, the Copa America final. I
Yeah,
think that's
I
going to be
think
one.
I promised a viewer the Copa America video, but then now that I think about it, I really cannot get Copa America content out
I,
soon enough.
I think
But
1 minute is good enough for Copa America.
Copa America.
yeah,
I mean, what kind of tournament is that? Uh,
it's not even the Copa America at this point. It's I think Brazil versus Argentina. I
I
think the
Brazil
think
versus
biggest
because
game on
Argentina.
the
my
international
my
stage.
I'm not joking here. Yesterday, what happened was my dad. He asked me what is going on in Copa, and I told my dad Brazil are playing Argentina in a fan, and he told me what? What is it a two-team tournament? And he literally said that he doesn't even watch football, and he told me that is it a two-team tournament because I only see these two teams ever in South America. And I said no, there's Colombia, Uruguay. There are other. He said what's the point? It's always these two, and I said yeah, well, that's the truth about this tournament. Stupid tournament, and they the timings don't support the Asian followers. Um,
Yes.
and when you have people like the goat, Messi, they're taunting Mina, dance, come on, dance. I mean, what kind of tournament? It's seeming like some match in Mumbai's gullies where people are taunting each other. I know you. I know you're nervous. I'm going to save your penalty. I mean, very unprofessional tournament. I would like to say.
Either way, it's the Brazil Argentina final, and I think all
Yeah.
neutral fans deep
Brazil
down
wins it.
hope.
Brazil wins it. My
Oh, you
prediction.
call it okay. I
Brazil wins
I
it.
I'd,
Yes.
I'd go for Argentina because I personally want to see an international
I,
trophy
I
in that
want to
season.
see I want to see Messi win a trophy. I don't have I love Messi. Anyone who watches football has to love Messi. but I feel that Neymar is on another level, and the Brazil team chemistry again, like
Yeah,
England
the
Italy,
Brazil
the
team.
Brazil
Yeah.
again it's exactly England Italy. The team chemistry of one team is way greater than the team chemistry of the other team. So I think Brazil that's why
But
has
the
a
only
bigger chance.
difference is that I think England Italy isn't being carried by one man
Yeah,
on one
one
side.
yeah, yeah, agreed. It is in a
So,
way Chiesa is their Messi, but no shots taken. Don't worry, no shots taken.
on that very controversial note, we ended for this week. It's Football Match Daily. Thank you for watching. If you watched this far, it really means a lot. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.